Alright guys, Hayzink here, and we're back with another Street Fighter Duel video. So, I didn't do the whole I called it video, but I did, right? Oni is on his way. To be honest, out of all the predictions I've made within this game, I think this one was the most obvious, right? The only thing that was maybe a little bit not as obvious was when he was going to come, which I said I thought the countdown would start today, and obviously the countdown has started today. So I give myself a thumbs up for that, right? But apart from that, clearly Oni was going to be the character that we would get next as a special summon. Now it's not been confirmed yet exactly what rarity he is. However, I said that I believe he was going to be Inferno, and I think Dino has said the next unit who is a special summon will be Inferno, but he didn't confirm who it was going to be. He said this yesterday when people said, Hayzink said that Oni was probably coming next, and he'd probably be Inferno. He said, I can confirm that the next unit will be Inferno, but I can't say who it is. Hey guys, I'm just cutting in here to say that I have noticed lately, looking at my analytics on YouTube, that when it comes down to people who view my channel, particularly for Street Fighter content, you're not subscribed. What is going on? I do not understand it. So what I'm saying, guys, is if you are new here, consider hitting that like button, consider hitting that subscribe button, support out the content that you watch, support the content that you watch even, and it will keep coming. Anyway, back to the video. Then obviously they told us who it was going to be, and at that point we now know he is going to be an Inferno, right? So we have his login, or his countdown as you want to call it, and you can see that it has in fact copied Summer Elena. So some of you, depending on your preference to, do you believe you could have great RNG and pull maybe 2-3 copies of this guy and 100 pulls, which can happen, not very often, but it can happen. Or do you like the guarantee that, okay, at least if I get this, I know I can use this to level characters. So depending on what your preference is, you're either a fan of this new system or you're not. Again, I can't say what's better, right? I actually prefer the tickets. I can't really say why I prefer the tickets. I guess it's because I'm quite fortunate and I rank quite highly in leaderboards and things like that. So having an additional 50 tickets when you've maybe already got 300 or 400, to me seems better, but I can quite clearly see that to most people this is going to be the better way of doing things, right? So I'll give them a thumbs up for that, okay? Now, the thing is, while it's copied Elena's event with regards to this login, now I can't say this for sure. I definitely cannot say this for sure. However, I have a very strong suspicion based on conversations, and the conversations are not me being told anything, it's just feelings that people have. I don't think we are going to get 2 copies of Oni from what the Street event is. So when we did Elena, you guys will know that you had the, I forget what it's called, but the mission thing where you go along the board and you're able to, were you able to do the Wonderland training and the puzzles and stuff like that. Wonderland training is the puzzles, you know what I mean, right? The secret training. We got, for the first one, we got a copy of Elena, and we got, I want to say 10 tickets. Then the second one, we got another copy of Elena, we got 12 tickets, and then for the final one, we just got 15 tickets, right? And did we get a Starlight? No, I don't think we did get a Starlight, right? I don't think that's going to happen for this, right? So I think this is going to be more like whatever the last Inferno or Master special summon unit was. So Goken, I'd need to go back and look. In fact, you know what, I'm just really quickly going to do that right now. I'm going to go and look, right? So yeah, I found it here on one of the old videos I did for it. So you can see this was the old reward system. So prior to what they did to make it obviously a lot better for Summer Elena, we got 12 tickets. So Summer Elena, I think, was, you got a copy of Summer Elena and 12 tickets for the first one. For the second one, it was Summer Elena plus 12 tickets for the second one, right? So anyway, You can see here that the old one was 12 tickets, 10 arcade tokens, some of the exchange materials, and the diamonds, right? So, in my opinion, at least anyway, again, you guys are free to have a different opinion, it's up to you. I really do not want to see a return to that, right? I feel like there's no reason for them to not give us a copy of Oni. Right, now, some people might argue two things. One, they might say it's because it was the anniversary. It wasn't, okay? Elena, her event had nothing to do with the anniversary. They were two completely independent things. So Elena being around about the time of the anniversary, it wasn't a case of, we're going to be more generous, here is a copy or two copies of Elena, right? That can't be used as a reason because the two events had nothing to do with each other, right? The second thing that some people might say is, well, it's because Elena was a factional special summon unit, right? Okay, that's a fair comment. However, there is absolutely no difference between a wind or obviously in future a thunder or a fire. There is no difference between those units when they're a special summon and a master and an inferno unit. They made no differentiating qualities, right? If they had done something like the dupe system was different or whatever, then that argument would be fine, right? That argument would make total sense, right? But they didn't. They basically standardized the value and they made one copy of Elena worth the same as one copy of Akuma, Evil Ryu, whatever, right? So, in my opinion, going forward, all the events should just follow that formula, right? So, at least what I hope is when we get this new event, we will see a copy of Oni available in the first mission thing and then in the second mission thing. And when they sell a pass, which they are inevitably going to do, that pass should give you one copy of Oni on the first purchase, one copy of Oni on the second purchase. Because if we go back to not Akuma's pass, I don't think Akuma had a pass, Evil Ryu's pass and Goken's pass, those passes gave you 10 special summoning tickets and then like 10 special summoning tickets, right? So, unless you want to actually tell your player base that despite you charging the same amount to summon for them, factional special summons do not carry the same value as Master and Inferno units, you really should give a copy of these units in the same way that you did Elena. So again, I feel like we should get a copy or two in Void Tower or whatever the equivalent is in this event. And if you're going to sell a pass, that pass should have one copy of Oni on one step and one copy of Oni on the next step. Because if not, it just sends out a real signal that you are charging the same amount of money for these factional units, especially if they keep coming back. However, they're not the same value. Okay, so try and keep the game economy making sense from that point of view. Because if my other prediction is right, and when the Turtles hit Paramount Plus, which should be early next month, we then do finally get this Turtles collab. Whatever they've established for these more limited units will probably take effect there. So if they do now introduce not giving us a copy of Oni and changing that pass back up, we can pretty much kiss bye-bye to that happening when the collabs come, right? So I'm putting it out there now into the world that this is what I would like to see and this is what I think they really need to do, because giving us those copies was one positive aspect of that event. The factional limited thing, in my opinion, wasn't, because really, we need to get rid of all our dupes. We absolutely need to get rid of all our dupes. I mean, if you watched my summoning video for El Fuerte, you know, I'm just like, I need to do something with these. Like, these guys need to go somewhere. And like, it's getting to the point now where I can't really summon for units because I'm just absolutely jam-packed with a whole bunch of stuff that I can't do anything with. And unless you give us a way to feed these units into factional summon units, or at least sell them, what are we going to do? You're literally locking out our box. some people say that, okay, Hayzink, but you know that you can purchase more slots. Do you know how many slots I would have to purchase to actually make my box usable again? And the thing is, I wouldn't have to do this if the game had not done things like changing factional units to special units and all the rest of it. There would have been places to feed these units into. So they need to work on this, and if they're not going to change up how those factional special summons work by allowing us to use these dupes, then they at least need to give us a way to sell the units or something like that. But anyway, that's besides the point. With regards to this event, like I say, it should be fun, hopefully. I don't think they're going to do the whole Goken Evil Ryu event structure again, because honestly, to give us that 3 times in a row would be just ridiculous, right? People have forgotten this, because I've spoken to people and I know they've forgotten it. There is another event, right? On Akuma, there's a different event style, and that event style was each day for 3 days, you would fight Akuma. For the first 3 days, Akuma was partnered with, I believe it was Ken, and you had to do like up to 4 fights against Ken. Each fight would give you random buffs, and if you got multiples, those buffs leveled up, right? Then you would fight Akuma, who would have that unit with them. Then after 4 days, that would swap, and it was Ryu. You done the same thing, buffed up. And then on the final set, it was Gen, I believe. We've not really had that event back, so I've got a strong suspicion that Oni's event will probably be that, unless the developers have completely forgot that that event even exists, and we end up with a whole battle loss system again. I hope it's not that, because people are tiring of getting the exact same thing. So hopefully they do, at least if they're going to reuse something, they reuse the event that we've only had once, which would be the structure for the Akuma event. It's been that long, like I say, people have just forgot about it altogether. So fingers crossed, that's what we get. But here it's here anyway, guys. Oni is for sure coming. You've got your Starlust, Starlight, Star Platinum, Starlight, there you go. So yeah, let me know. You good with that? What about Oni? Get a copy, don't get a copy. 1, do you think it will happen? 2, do you think it should happen? Just based on Elena, should that now just be the standard moving forward? I think I've made it clear what my point of view is. Let me know what your point of view is. I've been Hayzink. Catch you in the next one. Peace.